Hey everyone, it's me, Kenzie Taylor, and it is time to get saucy. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and enjoy the sauce. Are you rolling? Okay, awesome. I'm not close to the camera, so it feels so weird. Open up, Pilly.
Yeah.
Which way? I don't see the camera.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of The Sauce with Kenzie Taylor. Today I have two amazing guests who I adore very much. Mr. and Mrs. Visual. Hello.
Hi there. We
What's
adore
up?
you too.
So Billy is a director and producer and content creator, and I mean really the jack of all trades over here. And Pilly is the right hand man or woman to him. She does it all too.
She's my right and left, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. I love that. So how many years have you guys been together? I know this, but just so everyone knows.
I mean, do we want to take it back? We've been together since high school. So all together.
We met in July 18, 2000. So it's been 22 years.
22 years.
But happily married for 15.
Married 15. That's fucking epic.
I'm glad she answered that because I would have to.
He would have to search his tattoo and do the math.
He's like thinking like in his head like this science equation. Like,
Yeah, facts.
like the first time that we fucked, or like what date were we talking about here?
I think he can figure that out. It took almost 2 years.
I remember you showed me this picture of him. I believe it was like prom or homecoming or something. And he had like the really white frosted tips. They were even whiter than those. Yeah. We're not as stylish. Now you're like real stylish. Like
He was trying to be cool.
yeah.
I was young and dumb.
Yeah. So ladies first. So Pilly, I would love to hear, how is it being with someone that's, in the industry, and now that, Billy also does content and just with everything that he does, how exactly does that dynamic of your relationship work?
Honestly, it hasn't really affected us in a sense, because I feel like with everything in our relationship, we've crawled into it. We never jumped into anything. And it all started very, very slow. And we almost felt like, we've done it all. How do you feel about this? And just like key in any relationship, we talked about it. And there was times where I was like, no way, no how. To be honest with you, and I'm almost embarrassed to admit it now, but back in the past when we were thinking about opening up a little more, because I don't know if many know, but he was my first boyfriend. So therefore, he was my first everything.
Aww.
So I lost my virginity to him.
That's so romantic.
And he always felt bad. And he's like, I almost feel like you got to go out there and explore and have another dick. And I'm like, whoa, no, I'm cool. I'm happy with what I have, And so part of him always felt like, I just want you to at least have one experience. And I'm like, but I'm okay. But what about with girls? No way, no how. No, that never crossed my mind. And that was way back then. And so now I feel like I'm opening up more to, different aspects of our sexual life and sexual experiences. And then actually back in, I want to say like mid 2000s, I had this fascination for women. And I admitted it to him, and he was like, what?
He's like, jackpot.
Is this for real? and I say, gosh, women are just so beautiful, and only a woman understands a woman. And he was just like, is this like for real? Like, what did you have to eat? What did you drink? Like, what's going on? Where did this switch come from? But I was just being genuine, and I felt like that was my time. And I'm so happy to admit it. It came from me.
Yeah.
He never pushed me to say or do or feel anything. It came from me. And so when I told him, he's like, well, if you ever want an experience, we can go forward with it. And I said, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I'll have to feel it out. And so it kind of started like that. And then we started then opening up more about, fantasizing with other people. And I feel that was kind of like a crawl into what could have been something that came about in the future. And so it was great. And I loved it. And I kept it at that. And I admitted to him, and this is the part where I'm kind of embarrassed to admit. I said,
don't be embarrassed. Believe me, we've talked about crazy shit on the sauce.
and I admitted to him, and I said, you know what? Because you're in the industry, I think it's too close for comfort. I will never cross that line. Like, work is work and fun is fun. And he's like, I respect that. But you do realize that people in the industry test. Like, the safest, most cleanest people are out there. And I was like, yeah, but no, that's just not me. That's not me. I just don't feel comfortable. Now it's like, till this day, have not messed around with anybody that's not outside the industry or has not been tested, because it's true. And I was like, damn it, you're right again, and he's always been right.
God damn you, Billy. No,
he was right. I must admit.
Yeah, I totally get that, because like I've tried, I'm trying to like find a girlfriend, and it's kind of hard. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
Like, it's like I don't want to, like, what's the saying? You don't want to shit where you eat or whatever.
Yep.
So it's like I don't want to date a coworker, because what if it doesn't go good or whatever?
Right.
But it's like I don't want to mess around with anyone that's not tested, and people don't realize how important testing is.
100%.
So.
So that's kind of how it all, slowly started. And so here we are. Now I feel that we crossed that line of having an experience with a girl. And then
how was that? How was your first
good.
threesome?
Can I speak on that?
Of course. Yes, both of you.
So I'm a little bit more of a backstory. She gave you like the Cliff Noted version.
Yeah.
And I'll make it like really quick.
Yeah.
She mentioned fantasizing and like talking about it. And, through all that, it kind of prepped us for an accident that happened. We, during our honeymoon, talked about where we wanted to go and what we wanted to do. And she mentioned she wanted to, get like a full body, like tan. And, we talked about maybe like a nude resort, blah, blah, blah. So, we Googled, and, this is back then. So that's when Google was like popping, like barely a thing for us. So we're like, all right, let's Google. And, we found out about hedonism. But like during that time, I myself, not her, I knew about, swingers and all this, lifestyle type stuff, but I didn't know like the swinger community never really called it swing, and they called it the lifestyle.
They call it the lifestyle, yeah.
So I didn't know about that. So as I find out about hedonism, Jamaica, and it's a lifestyle island and blah, 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 it didn't trigger that it was like a swingers island, a bunch of people who, all had fun with each other. That was way too expensive. So I Googled again and found this spot in Palm Springs. Same thing, title all over the website was lifestyle this, lifestyle that. It didn't trigger. So we booked, 3 days, 2 nights, I think it was?
Yeah.
And we showed up. I mean, I think I still look, thankfully, gene-wise, I still look fairly young for my age. So back
you look
then,
great. Both of you are hot. Let's be honest.
Thank you. Back then, though, I'm 25. I looked like I was 18, soaking wet.
Yeah.
And the resort sees us coming in, and they're like, are you sure you know what type of spot this is?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, of course. So they gave us the tour, and long story short, as we go through this tour, we start seeing more and more shit popping, and I'm like, whoa. My wife's
What's she
looking
doing
at me.
over there by the pool? Her head's bopping up and down. What's going on?
Oh, they're straight up just fucking and
well, it
sucking
started
in
off
the
slow.
public.
Like, big pool was just people mingling.
Nude.
Okay.
Quiet, private area, nothing. Big jacuzzi, full on fucking. And
Really?
And
like,
we're like
in the jacuzzi?
in
or
the
were they like
jacuzzi.
In and out.
In and out, in and out. It was like 5 couples just in this big ass jacuzzi.
I don't
just,
know about you guys, but I hate like fucking in a jacuzzi. I don't know. Like the water like doesn't make it feel good. Bending over the jacuzzi's cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But not like actually in it.
It dries
I mean,
out.
we've done inside the ocean, and I mean, I think just the whole idea of people being next to us, not knowing what we were doing,
Yeah.
just kind of made it
Yeah,
hot.
I love
But
that.
I get it. It's not the same.
Yeah.
But by the time we got to our room, I was just like, yo, do you know what type of spot this is? She's like, no, but this place is fucking interesting. And I kind of told her. And
Interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
And I gave her full, hey, if you want to bounce, I don't care
Yeah.
about the fees or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not here
He's like, if you're not comfortable,
This is our
we
honeymoon.
can leave. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm comfortable until I'm not, and I'll tap out and say, let's go.
Yeah.
We
And-
lasted the whole time.
And it changed our lives. Like, we realized what a dope lifestyle it was. It kind of introduced us to a new world that we wanted to kind of dabble in. So when all this was said and done years later, we took it slow. We had kids after that, so it kind of stopped us from the lifestyle. But
Your
then,
kids are very beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
Appreciate
Thank
that. And it leads us to our threesome. We went to a swinger club, and
Do they fuck in the club?
oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
actually in it, or do you guys go
No,
to,
like
the
there's
bathrooms
sections.
and-
There's like no,
There's
there-
little
There's like
sections.
a top floor, dance floor, food, drinks, people just talking, getting to know each other. Then you go down the stairs. Well, at least the one that
to
we
the
went
fuck
to.
floor.
To the fuck
Fuck
floor.
floor, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's
love it.
multiple rooms.
I've
and
never
then-
been. I want to go. It sounds
Yeah,
fun.
big ass like 10 people bed
Bed.
in the middle and
Wow.
yeah, shit going
If you
down.
want to be
So-
seen or not be seen, it
I was
depends.
gonna say like a lot of voyeurism type
Yeah.
stuff
Oh,
going
yeah.
on too.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I like
and
that.
That's
weird
kinda
shit
how
could
it
happen
started
too,
with
but
us.
you have to be strong
Yeah.
enough to like let people know what your boundaries are.
Yeah,
and shit like that.
exactly.
But we took our friend who happened to be her coach, and you know, I mean, I hope she never sees this, but whatever. At the end of the day,
You're
being,
not saying names. It's
we're
okay.
being transparent.
Yeah.
You know, she was a full on like, you know, a dyke, like, you know,
Yeah.
super lesbian.
Yeah.
And my wife was kind of like, you know, well, when she asked my wife to go to the back with her, I was kind of like, oh, well, fine, you're gonna get your first,
I was
you know,
thinking
girl.
she's gonna handle me. 'Cause
Yeah,
she's into girls.
and it didn't quite turn out that way. So
No?
yeah, it led into us having a disappointing, I guess, first time.
First experience.
And nothing. She's cool as fuck. Like
We still talk. We're
Still
really
talk
to her.
good friends.
Yeah,
man.
really good friends. But as far
A
as
terrible
experience,
threesome. Just terrible.
and I think it was just because it was, I guess, her first time at a place like
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
Her first time with like a girl.
Yeah.
It just.
Were
it
you
didn't-
super nervous, Pilly?
I was
Even
excited.
though, oh, okay. Even though you knew her, were you nervous or no? You just excited?
In a sense, yeah, because when she asked if she, let me know when the next party is popping, and so I told her, but I never knew she wanted to hook up.
Yeah.
I was thinking she wanted to come and hook up with another girl.
Yeah.
But
So is she more along the lines of wanting to fuck you and kind of
Apparently.
just push Billy to the side?
Not
Pretty much.
really.
pretty much in the
I
beginning.
was in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was in there. But
Yeah.
remember,
You're like, hell
she
no.
was very masculine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me,
It was awkward.
it was kind of awkward because she had like the super short faded hair.
Yeah. It's
and
like you're
very-
competing with another dude
Yeah.
almost. Yeah.
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 And I wasn't trying to be behind another girl that looked like a dude. Like not my style.
Like he's okay
Yeah.
with him and
Yeah.
another guy fucking me.
Yeah.
all day.
But he's
All day.
not so okay apparently.
Everybody all day.
All day.
Or me and a feminine girl. Mm-hmm. He's
Yeah.
100% okay.
Yeah.
But that was just kind of awkward. I was in
This
a,
wasn't your cup of tea.
It
And that's
wasn't.
It wasn't.
okay.
And then it became awkward because then, I'm standing there stroking my shit. And then people are walking by, like popping their head in. And I'm just like, yeah.
Hey, see you later.
Yeah. So it was a weird experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, we finally did have a good experience after that. And it set the tone for where we're at now.
Yeah.
We have fun. We love what we do. We love the experiences that we've had. And, obviously now content is a thing. Content is key. And we just decided to venture off from, like, being behind the camera to being in front of the camera. And, yeah, it's fun.
I love that for a while you were doing like the sunglasses thing and like hiding.
Oh,
and shit.
yeah.
And then you're like, nah, I'm out. What's up? I
Yeah.
love it.
I would have wrote it. It was her, which thank God, because,
Yeah.
it wasn't really my thing. I was
Yeah.
more doing it to keep her comfortable.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then when she told me, fuck this.
Well, I had an
supervisor.
experience with somebody that when he said what he said, I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right.
What did he say to you?
He was like, you know what? I want to get into it. This is not my thing. I just have to have that connection and see you eye to eye.
Yeah.
You are such a beautiful girl.
You
can't.
are.
Why are you hiding it?
Yeah.
And I was like, you're right.
You're like, why the fuck?
And I was like, fuck the glasses. And after that
Yeah.
experience, I never went back.
I remember though, like when I first seen your tweet where you're like, fuck it. Basically, you're like, I'm going all in. Like, this is what I look like.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it. Like,
Yeah.
I love that.
It
It's
took
super
a lot.
empowering.
It took a lot. I'm not gonna lie, but
Yeah.
like anything else we've done in life, it's like I really put that into it, and I knew, hey, once I'm out, I'm out. There's no turning back.
Mm-hmm.
And I waited until I was ready.
Mm-hmm.
That experience with that guy was a motivation, but in that moment, I let go of the glasses, but I didn't open up, and I wasn't ready until I was ready. And when
Yeah.
I was ready is when I put that tweet on. I was like, this is me. You
Well, it
either
took
like
like
me or-
6 months after that experience.
Yeah,
I love
it took
that.
a while,
Yeah.
but I had to mentally
You
prepare
blossomed.
myself. I did.
You know what I mean?
I did, and I got to the point where I've done modeling in the past, and I know that my modeling pictures compared to my pictures now are not the same. Clearly, I've had 3 kids. I'm 40 years old. I'm not going to look like I did when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
And so the same way.
I know. I love it.
Thank you. I've learned to embrace
love
my
MILFs.
curves. I've learned to embrace my natural curves. And the way I see it is, hey, if I'm not the same girl I was 20 years ago, I'm not going to be the same girl 20 years from now. So I either make a difference and change and put myself out there, which is something that one of my aunts always told me. She's like, honey, look, this was me. And she showed me full on nude pictures. Look, this is me when I was young.
Yeah.
She's like, I would do anything to be 20 like you right now and take all the nude pictures you want. I was like, you're telling me this? Like, what? This is like
Okay.
one of those aunts you never expect, you know?
Yeah.
But she's that aunt that always had heels, always had her nails done, always had her hair done, always had her makeup on. I was like, I want to be like her when I grow up.
Yeah.
And so when she told me that, I was like, okay, I'll listen to what you say, you know?
Yeah.
And so I did. And she was my motivation. I was like, you know what, you're right. And my body did change from before having kids, after having the first, after the second, after the third. So here I am now. And I feel we've built such a strong foundation, not only as a couple, but as parents, that no matter what the fuck anybody says, everybody knows us for who we are.
Yeah.
It's not
You're
going to
always
change me for who I
genuine.
am, regardless of whether I fucking run Procter & Gamble or
Yeah.
run fucking the biggest corporations out there or do what we love, you know?
Yeah. I will say, I remember you and I having a conversation at, I believe it was like an ex-biz prenom party a couple of years ago, is when we got to do things in person before COVID.
Yeah.
And I remember you were talking to me, and it was just me and you. We were in a hallway, like almost leading to the bathroom, and I think you were wearing a black dress, and you were talking to me about how kind of conscious you were about your body and how you were about to like have like a surgery, and you know, you were just very like self-conscious about it. And I just kept telling you, like, you're fucking beautiful, Pilly. Like, no matter what, who gives a fuck what anyone thinks about you or says about you? Like, you are literally beautiful, like inside and out.
I
You know what
clearly
I mean?
remember that. It was actually AVN, and I was not wearing a dress because I was not comfortable wearing dresses.
Yeah.
It was actually like a romper, and it was
Yes,
a
that's what it
pant.
was.
And
I
I
remember,
had such a hard time finding outfits. And,
Yeah.
and just feeling myself. And I feel like you're right. And
You
by the way,
changed so
I can't thank you enough for those type of conversations, because I always look up to people like you. You're gorgeous without
you.
makeup, inside and out. And those are the real ones.
Thank
the
you.
fact that you had that conversation with me, I clearly remember that conversation
Yeah.
too. And yeah, I was scared. I was nervous.
And look at you now. Like, seriously. This is your fucking wifey over here.
I tell her that all the time.
It's fucking amazing.
He's really good about that.
Hey, look,
every
I'll
day.
tell all the guys right now, like, if you're even boyfriend, girlfriend, married, like, don't stop telling your partner I
No.
love you. Like, seriously, like, that's
Or
like one of those
compliments.
Or
things.
compliments.
Or
Every
compliments,
day.
yeah. Because, I mean, look, I know you get into a point of your relationship where things kind of get stagnant. And, you know, you'll tell each other I love you when the time is right, like, during intimate moments and shit. But nah, man, I wake up every single day and I tell this girl how
We
beautiful
were just
she
eating
is.
breakfast before we came here.
I
He's
pulled
like,
out my phone
"Look
and
at
I
me."
take a picture.
And I'm like, what's this picture for? He's
I'm like, you look good right now.
look, you just look good. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like still recovering from this long ass week trip. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
I look like shit.
You
but,
don't.
But he compliments all day, every day. I know I have to work on it more.
Nah,
But I show my affection. Like,
Yeah.
I'm very touchy. I love cuddles. And
Me too. I'm a very affectionate person.
yeah. So I might not be
And
as
Seth's like,
verbal,
all right,
but
calm down.
I'm always like,
all right, go
Funny.
ahead.
Yeah. Okay, little chihuahua humping my leg.
But yeah, no,
So-
that goes a long way for sure.
yeah.
So do you have any advice for anyone like wanting to maybe dabble in the lifestyle as a couple?
You go first.
100%. Yeah, why not? You only live once, you know. But you have to be prepared. You have to be ready for yourself and ready as a couple. Because he was ready. He was ready to go. Like, he was ready to explore and have fun. But he was patient and he waited for me. He's like, I'm not going to push anything. Just know, hey, look, it's out there. Whenever you're ready, just let me know.
Yeah.
And when I was ready, I knew I was ready.
Yeah.
I never felt pressured. I never felt like, oh, this is something he wants to experience or have fun with. And when I knew the time was right, the time was right. When we had our first girl grow experience, or girl experience, or girl grow experience, or when we had when I had my first boy grow experience.
And for those of you that don't know, that just means like two guys, one girl,
guys,
two
one girl.
girls, one guy.
And I feel like
we're
it
so
also
stuck on like porn terms.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, porn brain.
I realize that like on OnlyFans, I'll be like, you know, boy, girl, this. I'm like, what's PG?
PG.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, oh fuck. Yeah. You're right. Let me tell you.
and even with that, I feel like even with that, when we first started doing content, he was always a part of it. Like I was like, I'm not gonna go and shoot with a guy alone. Like no way, no how. Like I want you there.
Yeah.
And for comfort for him and comfort for me, he's like, I'm totally cool. I trust you. I know that. We've made it this far. If you fuck it up, you fuck it up. You know, straight up. Same from him. Like, look, we've made it this far. If you fuck it up, that's like, why cheat when you can have whatever you want? We just have to communicate about it.
Exactly.
But now even
also,
to that,
why cheat when you have fucking this prime rib at home? Shit.
Right, medium rare.
Yeah,
nice and juicy.
The most expensive, hottest.
But she said one of the key words right now is communication.
Yes,
1,000%.
And trust for sure.
Trust.
Oh yeah.
Look, if you're in a relationship that you and your partner are already open to the idea, but haven't like pulled the trigger, I guess you can say, and you are in a relationship that's healthy, strong, and you know that there's just no turning back. Like, this is the person for me. This is the person that I love. I don't see why you wouldn't. Temptations are always going to be there per se, in a sense of like, you know, when you're not in the lifestyle. Like I always told her, you can't tell me you don't go out with your girlfriends and you're not at a club with your girlfriends and you're not looking at some dude and saying, wow, he looks good, or he's a good looking guy, blah, blah. Or for us, we're at a club with some dudes or guys and we're like, damn, that girl got a bomb ass, or she's got some nice tits, you know, whatever. It happens. That's like part of just being a human being. So if you're denying that part, you need to look in the mirror because it's happening. Yeah. I said, but you know, when we could be a couple and do things together as a couple and have fun, then that's the beauty of it.
It makes it more exciting, I feel.
Yeah.
Like we were just in Tulum this weekend and we went to a club and there was like a group of like 5 girls just sitting there and they kept staring and they were like, yeah, because it was just us 2 dancing. Everybody's like cheering us on. And then next thing you know, you see 2 girls get up and they're dancing. And so it was like 2 girls and then us. And I was like, yeah, I was like, here, he needs a partner. And they were like, what? I was like, yeah.
And one of the girls was like, that's your wife.
And she's like video recording.
And she doesn't mind you dancing with other girls. I'm like,
no, like, here, both of you take them. I'll dance by myself. I'll just watch. And they were like blown away.
That's so strange though, that people are possessive enough about like dancing with someone.
Yeah.
Like
it's sad.
Something so small as that, right?
Yeah, like I think that like if you're at that point, like maybe you should just not be in a relationship and reevaluate something, because clearly there's something that isn't healed in you.
True.
That's making you insecure.
True. That's true.
You know?
Or they just haven't found the right person.
Yeah.
You know, like like she said, we crawled into everything.
Yeah.
You know, we started off high school sweethearts, never even fathomed doing anything like that. I've always been crazy in a sense. Like I'm the epitome of like living my dreams right now. Like I was that 8-year-old kid looking at porn magazines and shit, being a little hornball and shit.
I want to hear about that. So I want to hear. Let's slide into that. So when was your first experience in porn, as you know, whatever you started as?
So my story,
Yes.
because her story developed from my story. She became like chapter 10.
Yeah. I want to hear your story.
I was always in the background.
So, I mean, like I said, back to what I was just saying, like I was a kid that was very curious, got introduced to like magazines at an early age, and it was immediately like, what the fuck? Like,
So good.
yeah, I was like, you know, one of those like little horny kids,
sticking.
dry humping my babysitter's daughter and shit at like 8 years old.
Jesus Christ.
Like I was a bad kid.
I was humping pillows.
Yeah.
No, he went for the mean.
And as I got older and, you know, obviously started to find myself out, I started to realize that like, you know, that world was like super dope for me, and intrigued me more and more as I got older and I'm looking for work. You know, back then it was a thing to go on Craigslist like that. I was like the Craigslist king. I would always find fucking jobs on Craigslist.
It was huge back then.
Yeah, people were like, how are you gonna find good jobs on Craigslist? I'm like, oh no, you find good ones.
Yeah.
It's just how you know, you can get the open door, but it's how you take advantage of your opportunities.
Exactly.
You know?
That goes for anything in life, really.
Yeah. So
you guys are go-getters, and I really, you know, respect that. Fucking hustlers for sure.
Oh yeah. No, for sure. I mean, that's, you know, in life, if you're not that, then you're limiting yourself to a lot more things that you can do. But as I'm like, you know, going, and I've always had many jobs, not because I lost them, but it was because I was just looking to better myself. But every time I would go back to Craigslist and I'd go on the adult section and look for an adult job, and it always said female preferred.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, like this ain't gonna happen. Okay,
Damn it.
but no, lo and behold, this is back in MySpace days. I found my friend that I went to high school with. He's in the industry, Mind Freak, if anybody knows who he is. You know, Archangel Lindell. Yeah. Went to high school with him. Saw his page after so many years, and it was like, you know, if you want to know what I do for a living, Google my name. And back then, I think he was like Dynamite Dolomite or something like that. So I Googled it. I'm like, oh, this fucker's in the industry.
You're like, hey,
So
what's up?
this was
Here's
during
my
a time.
chance.
This is during a time that I was doing music videos for some pretty big names. I was editing, and I just kind of DM'd him and was like, yo, if you ever need an editor, let me know. I'm down. And didn't hear nothing from it. Saw him, kind of kicked it. And then he was working for Pat Mine back in those days as a PA. He started working for Jay Sins afterwards. I don't know if you remember him, but he got a job with Jay, and then Pat needed a PA. So I started doing like maybe once a week.
Oh, you started with Pat?
Pat.
It was so cute because he asked me
so
too.
funny.
He's like, "Are you okay? You know, I got this opportunity." I was like, "Yeah."
I call him Smiley because he's always
Oh,
smiling.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Or he's I'm not even joking. He's one of those people that I fucking love when he takes my photos because he's so excited. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, right there. Don't move. Oh my God, look at that.
Very, very true.
Yeah.
Very, and I love the guy, man. Very interesting dude. Yeah.
Very interesting.
But, like, I'll say this, because you mentioned something. You started with Pat. Yes, I did start with Pat.
Yes.
But did I feel like my career
Yes.
started with the late Robbie D.
Yes. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. It started with him. That was my guy. Like,
Yeah.
that dude was like, psh, he's the one that gave me like every opportunity that I can think of. Pat basically introduced me to the industry. By watching Pat, it made me learn that like I needed to know camera work, how to be a photographer, also how to produce and do all the other back end stuff. But Pat during that time was very heavy into his boot line. I don't know if you remember, he had like designer boots that he created. And I believe, maybe they'll quote me or they'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he had a contract with Steve Madden, maybe. Or maybe another big designer that's big.
Yeah.
So he ended up moving to New York, left the industry, and I was out of the gig now. So now I'm like, fuck, I basically got my fucking feet wet, and now I'm out.
Yeah. Now you're like, damn it. What do I do?
But during that time, I was
SOS.
yeah, I was really into MMA, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and all that, and they all knew that. So here's Mark Kramer looking for an extra for a movie for Digital Playground, and they needed boxers in the background, just kind of hitting the bags. And I got a phone call out of nowhere, like, hey, you know, I heard you do this, and we're looking for extras. If you're down, you know, we'd love to use you. We'll pay you like $150 to do it. I'm like, fuck, that's double what I'm getting paid now just at a normal job.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm down. So when I showed up, it was at that point that I realized like what porn could be.
Yeah.
I'm used to like Pat Mine's little sets.
Yeah.
I worked maybe 4 hours, 3 hours.
It's so different, and I try to explain that to people, the difference between gonzo and features.
Oh.
It's so different. Like, also just in my own opinion and experience, I never go to a set and have an expectation of when I'm leaving because you just never know. Even if you are on a gonzo, something could happen. The camera breaks. There's no batteries charged. The male performer is having a bad day or just something, you know what I mean? But on features, I always try to tell people, like, we do what mainstream does with a smaller budget and within 7 days or less.
Yes.
And it's fucking insane.
And you're working a lot of hours.
Yeah.
And you're really, what I try to explain to the newer generation, because I believe the newer generation is a little spoiled, I guess you can say.
I agree.
And I don't mean it in a disrespectful way.
No,
it's
I
just
agree.
they're not trained from the get-go that like there's our sets that have long hours.
Yes.
Whereas before there was a lot more feature. I mean, Wicked was doing big movies back then, still doing big movies. Digital Playground was like, we had all these companies doing huge movies.
Yeah.
So we were kind of bred into that. And we knew that like, okay, we're not doing this so much for the money, because the money's good, but we're doing this because the overall product is going to be fucking something that you can be proud of, and that you can look 6 months down the line after you've shot those fucking 20-something hour days, and you can be like, holy shit, I get it. That's why we work those long hours. Because
do you prefer directing or doing camera work for gonzos or features?
All day for features.
Yeah.
Like for me, working those long hours,
super artistic.
It's nothing. I mean, don't get me wrong, it gets hard. You know,
Yeah.
you're human. You get tired.
Yeah.
You know, long days drag, and you're like,
Yeah.
shit. But I just love the creativity of it. You know, whereas
creative side comes
Gonzo
out.
or like the stuff that I
Yeah.
do for like Brazzers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it. You know, I'm never not gonna love it.
Yeah.
I get a kick out of it sometimes. We
Yeah.
laugh our ass off because some of the shit that we do is super funny
Yeah.
and super crazy and stupid. But when you get to do a movie and you get to put like pieces together and actually make something with substance,
And you see like the characters develop and the
Yes.
story, and
Yes.
it has a
It's
whole nother
amazing.
meaning or
it
another
really
feeling,
does.
you know?
It's I consider features like passion projects.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I do them, because it's just like, oh, this is so amazing. I love it.
Yeah, and if you don't have that mentality going into it, then you just don't sign up for it. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, what time do we leave?
Yeah, yeah.
How many more hours? How many positions? How long does the sex scene need to be?
Yeah. Very,
Okay.
very true. Me coming from the outside in though, like before, like I said, when I got into Robbie's set, it blew my fucking mind.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm
He was
seeing
fucking amazing.
Lighting crew, big ass camera.
Yeah.
Fucking sound guy, PAs.
Don't forget about the food.
Food, like catering.
Oh, yeah.
Catering
Like we had
was-
straight like somebody cooking on
I know,
set.
right? I'm like, what?
Boy.
There was catering?
Yeah. So
Now we're like, hey, here's a bottle of water. Like, what?
I went from being an extra that day to helping out with the slate to being invited to the next day, this was a Tuesday. I think it was Thursday the next day.
Yeah.
To after Thursday having a full-time gig.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I basically worked my way up. I always told myself, and look, for those people that are trying to get into the industry, this is going to happen. You're going to have that one guy that gets in the industry as a PA and will forever be looked at as a PA.
Really?
Because that's just kind of where they've put themselves. They'll
Or
get
where they fit.
Where they fit. They get
Yeah.
like PA gigs, but then, you know, financially, if you want to get to a place of comfort or just, you know, respect levels and just kind of moving up in the ranks, you gotta be willing and you gotta be willing to learn every aspect of this gig.
Because it's constantly changing.
Oh,
Always.
yeah.
Like,
And-
I've only been in for almost 8 years now, and literally, like, so much has changed. I mean, even the paperwork has changed. We went from like 20 pages to like 40. Like,
Yeah, way more
crazy.
intricate and way more detailed. And if anything, you got to cross your T's and dot your I's. If you miss one thing, it's
Yeah.
like it gets flagged.
Yep.
But yeah, you got to learn everything. I didn't go to school for any of my shit. Like I came in as a
All
kid.
hands on.
All hands on.
I love
I learned
that.
how to shoot cameras from the smaller cameras to the bigger cameras. All about the lenses, all about the features of a camera, how to shoot pictures, how to do sound, how to produce, how to book, how to like the ins and outs. And that's what
He's a go-getter.
Yeah.
He's always been a go-getter.
And I'm not just saying this to like blow smoke up your ass. I'm being serious. You're so fucking talented, and like honestly, it's like an honor for me to have someone like you like shoot my stuff. Like
Thank
the
you.
photos and video that you do, like it's amazing. Like I won't have anyone else.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Like
Appreciate that.
you're the shit. Like my company Feels, that's launching this month.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's November now.
Yeah.
So Billy and Pilly are actually on my team, and we did an awesome content shoot. And if you go to Feels by Kenzie on Instagram, you can see some of those photos that Billy took, and the videos will be posting soon. But yeah, you're super fucking talented. I love your stuff.
That was a
Appreciate
great
it.
day.
What do you think if you had to pick, both of you, if you had to pick one project that you've done throughout your entire career, what has been your favorite and why?
You know what? I look at
good
it's just
question.
kind of cliche, or maybe it's kind of like a oh wow, that's a bleh answer. But I kind of look at every project that I've done as an amazing project. look, I will forever be hungry in this industry.
Yeah.
I will forever never take what I do for granted.
Yeah.
There's always somebody trying to take your gig. So I always go to each project like it's my first project, kind of, you know? And so, like, I go in there with the same passion is what I'm trying to say as, like, everything else, that when I'm done, even if it's something as small as, you know, a small gonzo scene or something as big as, like, something we did with Seth, you know, just recently with Wicked, you know, I love all those projects, but I'll be real with you, like, you know, the shit we did with Seth recently with Wicked,
yeah,
wait for that
Sick.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard it was epic.
It was epic.
It was the
it was
most
long ass
expensive-
hours.
Yeah,
long
it was
ass
the
hours.
most expensive movie and the fucking most like hours.
Yeah.
But it
Another
was his
thing-
biggest one too.
Another thing, just right off top that I can think of, like Angela White's Blowbang. Man.
For Brazzers, right?
For
When she
Brazzers.
got her
That-
first got her contract.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did a 15-guy blowbang. I think I want to say probably is the biggest
biggest
blowbang
one.
in the history of the adult industry.
15. That's amazing.
15. You know,
Yeah.
there's been, you know.
I want 20.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Let's shoot for
Me
it.
and Billy will do it.
Let's say that she wanted 22, but she wanted 20
As
as
well.
well. Not 22, but
Yeah,
20
yeah.
as well.
Real.
But you know, with COVID, with the pool of performers
There's
nowadays,
not a lot of guys.
No.
it's not a lot of guys, and we just shot for 20, and we ended up getting a bunch of cancellations last minute as well. That it ended up being 15, and she was cool with it. Look, man, Angela White's a fucking beast.
She is.
And,
I will say this. There is no one in the entire industry that is like Angela. She is one of a kind.
one of a kind, one of one.
She is
for sure.
incredible at what she does. She's an incredible human being. Like, she's so
Businesswoman.
fucking nice, very respectful,
Very.
so good at branding. Like, I wish that I was as good at branding as her. Like, I try so hard.
You want me to give?
She's
I'm gonna give
amazing.
credit where credit's due, though,
Yes.
because it's similar to this, but the opposite end.
Yes.
You know, where my wife does a shit ton for me,
Yes.
and like if I didn't have my wife, a lot of the shit that I do wouldn't have been as smooth as
Your
it,
head would
as
pop off.
It would. Like like I said, I do a lot.
Yeah.
I'm camera, like I'm
Yeah.
everything that like for me to worry about the producing side of shit.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot. So my wife
Yeah.
is like my right and left.
Yeah.
You know, her husband does a lot for her.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah,
know,
he
that's a
does.
1-2 punch that like they're an incredible team.
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure. There's always someone. I very rarely do you just see someone doing it on their own. There's always like someone on their team. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, they're amazing.
But I love that because it's inspiration for us too
Yeah.
as well, because you know it's like, you know, you don't see too many of that, like you and your husband, like, you know,
Yeah.
there's not
There's not a lot.
there's
of
maybe a
people.
handful,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And where you can have that husband and wife team that are honestly doing things together, and that's a beautiful
It's
thing because look,
beautiful.
in this
Yeah.
industry, you want to be your other partner's support system, especially if you're both in the industry. Having that support system from your better half is like none like no other. Like it's the best feeling because
Because
when you
we
don't,
understand each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like we're a family outside of our family. And
So,
only
for advice for you know, other couples out there that, you know, are in the industry or not, what type of advice would you give them if, you know, one of them is succeeding more than the other, you know, and the one of them that isn't succeeding as much is kind of getting like jealous about it or whatever? What type of advice would you give to someone like that?
I would say, in a nutshell, succeed together. There's no one is succeeding more than the other. You know, if you're allowing that to happen, like you're not, I guess you could say, if you're not riding that same horse or bandwagon with each other, then that could happen. But if you guys are doing it together, like, you know, if she, for example, because I could only speak for myself.
Yeah.
If she, for example, was doing her own thing and I was kind of just saying like, fuck it, you know, you do you, I do me, then you're opening up yourself for that mentality and that, you know, thing to happen, that type of mind frame.
Yeah.
But if you guys do everything together, you know, I work on her production, she works on my productions.
Yeah.
That way, everything that we're doing together, it's like, you know,
You're
two is better than
involved.
one, even with partners, you know.
And you talk about your experiences so they feel included. You know, like you might be off doing your thing, he's going off doing his thing, and then it's like, how was your day? Some people are okay talking about it, some people are not, but for us, I feel it helps us, you know?
Yeah.
'Cause now you're a part of it. What, even if you were there or not, now you're a part of it.
Yeah, I love that advice, because the reason why I asked that question is that was a question that I was getting for like years about my relationship with Seth. Like, he's been in the industry for, 10 plus years, and he's so talented and has done all these things, and you're like, just here. I'm like,
That's how I feel.
Yeah. I'm like, no, we do things together. And like,
Yeah.
people don't comprehend that. They're like, what do you mean
Yeah.
you do it together? Like,
Yeah.
we're a team.
Yeah.
Like,
That's exactly
how do
what
you,
it is.
how
And-
else do I say? Like,
And that's kind of shallow
teamwork.
on their end to say that,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
if they understood,
they're just haters. It's okay.
you
You're
could use
always
that
gonna
word
get them.
haters, or you could just use the word, and I don't mean this in any disrespectful manner. It's just
Yeah.
the honest truth.
Yeah.
It's just ignorant to the what's going on type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
If we're in the industry and we're a couple and we're married or whatnot, or we've been together for a long time, because there are a lot of couples that are not married but together for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Everything should be
Equal.
Equal.
Yeah.
There's- and she
50-50.
she mentions this thing all the time. There's no 50-50 in a relationship.
No.
Yeah.
There's 100-100. Period.
When we were just in Tulum, I was telling Seth, I'm like, our relationship's supposed to be equal, and you're shopping and you're buying more than me. I need some more clothes too. You bought so much clothes. I was like, come on.
I try to balance it out. I started having like
Billy has a
double
shoe
the pair.
problem.
Yeah, I have a shoe problem, but then I started to even out her. So now sometimes I'll get like something, and then I'll be
What's
like, you know
funny,
what,
I have a quick story. So he
Yeah,
got
yeah.
a gift card
from one of her fans.
from one of my fans. Gave him a gift card. He's like, "Oh, these shoes are sick. I want to buy these." Damn it, it's only kid size. Well, I guess they're gonna be for you. So here they are.
I love
I was like,
that.
well, at least he bought me the
You're like,
shoes that could have been his.
Yeah, that's great. I like
Yeah.
that. What a nice fan.
Sure.
Like, here's a
Oh,
gift
he
card.
loves him.
Yeah, that's
He
great.
loves us.
That's so great.
Yeah, he spoils them well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you guys have a OnlyFans together,
We
or
ha-
is it just like you're on hers and she's on?
We tag
yours?
each other.
Yeah.
It
Tag
used to
you're
be.
in.
It used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be just hers.
Yeah.
And I would be on it, and then it turned into like just her working with others.
Because you have the. Am I allowed to say the
Yeah.
company?
Yeah, of course.
So you have the Bad Daddy thing now, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Does that have its own page, or does that go on yours?
No. That's
just plugging
that's-
it for you.
That's just a site. That's a site now that James
Okay.
Dean actually took over, because it used
Okay.
to be ran by Barrett,
Yes.
and then he took over. So now he's having us, do the scenes for us. So that's
Yes.
actually a site in itself.
Gotcha.
So that's like me working for a company and shooting for them.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's like not me per
Yeah.
se doing it. But what I learned is that like it used to be just hers, and I opened up my own one now.
Yeah.
Because what I can make off of her videos that we make together,
Yeah.
it's not always going to be the same fans.
Exactly.
So we can double up on our
Exactly.
on our income.
Yeah.
And
So-
some that were our fans
Yeah.
dropped me as a fan and went to him as a fan.
You're
so
like,
we
hey, you're still paying.
we clearly see they're into him, and that's
it's
okay.
funny
Yeah.
because when she first came out, as herself without the visor. or
Yeah.
It's Miss Visual, now Mrs. Sloppy.
Yeah. And when she first came out, she got like a fucking whole flood of new subscribers. And it was funny because one of them was like, look, I hope you don't take it disrespectfully, but because they found, and this is another thing that I told her. I said, once people find out that you're my wife, there's been tons of people asking, like, when is your wife going to be in front of the camera? So once I let them know, hey,
Yeah.
this is her OnlyFans now, to jump on.
Yeah.
So we started getting like a whole new pool of like subscribers, and then a few of them was like, look, I hope you don't take this disrespectfully, but I'm only here to see Billy. I was like, oh shit.
Do you guys deal with any like criticism from like, other people in your like community or parents and stuff at the schools? Do they know like what you guys do and treat you differently?
I'm glad you asked that question.
Yeah.
No.
Knock on wood,
good.
it's been very smooth.
We were
Yeah.
worried about that even before we did content.
Because sometimes
Yeah.
people are just like nasty.
Yeah, no, we were
well,
worried
to be
before.
honest with you, when they ask us, what do you guys do for a living? It's like, well, I hope you don't take this the wrong way. I hope this doesn't ruin
Yeah.
what we have going on as friends or
Yeah.
for our kids, but this is what we do. They're like, oh, that's dope. Oh, that's really
Yeah.
cool. I respect you because I see who you are, and
Yeah.
I never even imagined. But now that I imagine, that's pretty cool.
I always just say film and entertainment, and then like when someone says, "What do you
What
do?" and I'm
kind?
like, "Well, an
yeah,
actress."
I just say,
Have I seen you in anything? I'm like, and then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, now they open the door, and I'm like, well,
Maybe.
I do porn,
Yeah.
so you might
We
have
say
watched my
production.
porn.
I just say I'm a producer.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah.
produce?
Well, it's a step
Yeah.
process, like you just said. You said it. It's always
Everybody's so nosy though.
Yeah.
Even in an Uber. So what do you do?
Yeah.
What's your birth date? Where are you from? I'm like, what the fuck is
damn,
this?
bro. I'm not getting
Not here
interviewed.
for an interview.
I'm like, can you take me to the airport? It's 5 a.m. Like, I'm fucking tired.
But that's how usually it happens. It's usually like, hey, what do you do for a living? And I never say producer or director. Never.
Yeah.
I always say I'm a camera guy.
Yeah.
I'm a cameraman.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. If it stays there, it stays there. Look, we are very good at not taking ourselves too seriously, and outside of me
Life's too
working,
short.
I'll say it right now. I'm David. I'm not Billy.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's my government name. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Don't talk about the industry. I don't
Yeah.
nothing because I got kids.
Work and personal life is separate.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if it happens to now be asked, then I'm proud of what I do for a living.
Yes, of
So I'll
course.
let people know. So usually it's just I'm a camera guy, and then they're like, okay, cool. But if they're like, oh well, have I seen any of your stuff that you shot? I'm like, oh, I'm sure you have.
Just look me up on Pornhub, dude.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I gotta go, man.
And then if it gets to like, well, what type of stuff do you shoot? Then I'll say, well, I shoot everything: promos, music videos. I mean, shit, I'll even shoot adult videos sometimes. Really? And then they'll ask, and then I'll kind of at that point, it's now open. I'll let them know what I do for a living.
What's the coolest, or I guess most interesting music video that you've ever shot?
I've shot a few. I mean, I shot Ray J's videos for a while back in the days. Ty Dolla $ign when he first started doing his
Nice.
first few songs.
Chanel West Coast.
Chanel West Coast. So I shot one of her music videos back in the days. Corrupt. I was his guy for a while.
I love how Pilly like knows everyone.
Well,
She's, like,
yeah.
naming them
Well,
off.
he was up editing for hours.
Yo, yeah. No,
I saw
look,
all the videos.
that was a moment in time that I always appreciated because it gave me the experience that I needed, but financially it was shit.
That's what I heard. Financially, it's
I was
not
making
great,
more money
but-
than him at that point.
Yeah.
Wiping dogs' asses.
Let's just be real. She was a dog groomer. Let's just be clarified. That.
Squeezing anal
Dead.
glands.
I got to work with artists that I grew up watching, like Corrupt, Snoop, all those guys, but they're very high up there in their stat and their what they are. So there's a lot of people that are willing to do shit for free.
Got ya. And you're like,
I was cool with
I have
that.
bills.
Well, I was cool with it at first because I was at that time
You just
trying
wanted
to
to get
build
the
my
camera work
name
experience.
and just build my name because
Yeah.
eventually I wanted to shoot like music videos for like actual labels.
Did you use Billy Visual for those?
No,
as
well,
well?
that's
Or
the
you-
story of how I got my name. So
Yeah.
in the industry in the beginning, I was Billy the Kid. Lindell was kind of like, dude, you're young, you look young as fuck, and I know you're gonna kill shit. So like Billy the Kid was always known as like that cowboy that was killing shit.
Yeah.
So it was Billy the Kid for a while, and
Yeah.
then when I got my first director's gig, they were like, well, what's gonna be your stage name? And I'm like, well, I don't want the Kid as my
Yeah.
name. So at that time, I was doing the music videos as well, and I would always put, instead of directed by, I would put visuals by David, my last name.
And Visual came to mind.
And then my wife actually was like, because we were pondering and thinking together, and she's like, well, Billy is already there. She says, what about Billy Visual? And I'm like,
Click.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
There it is.
It's super catchy. Also, you guys might not be able to see because the camera's not super close, but they wear sick ass chains with it. I love the chains.
Yeah.
Like, you had a graphic designer do your logo, right?
That's
I think
actually
you guys
his
just told me
signature.
about it.
That's actually my signature.
Oh, really?
Like,
Okay.
Yeah, I did my little
His signature is the logo.
and then
And then the guy you told me about made the necklaces.
I went to high school with him, and he ended up taking his parents' jewelry business over in China. So he moved out there, and we kept in touch ever since then. And I've always, since I was a kid, I mean, people always say that I like became who I am, the way I look and everything, because all of a sudden, like, nah, I've always been like
He's
this.
always been
I've always been that little
fashionista.
kid with cross colors and Tommy Hilfiger as a kid. And,
Stylish.
Yeah,
Dada.
like-
Remember Dada back in the days?
oh, I
Still
was,
Dada.
yeah. But yeah, I've always been into chains. I have pictures of myself when I was like in elementary
Baby
school
fat.
with a little, yeah, exactly.
Fubu.
Fubu. So when I got to a point where I was becoming, I guess, not a brand per se. I was just becoming a director, and my name was becoming more out there. I wanted to brand myself, so it was just natural for me to like do it. And you know, some people talk shit, some people don't.
I don't care. It's super catchy.
I like it. That's all that matters.
And who cares if people talk? People are always talking. And you know, I heard this saying one time, and I thought it was funny. If you ain't got haters, you ain't popping.
Right.
So we popping, y'all. Okay.
Our name's out there. So, that's
So
what matters.
before we sign off, I would just love to ask you one more question, and then I'm going to have you share your social medias, your websites, all that. When is the last time that you did something for the first time?
This weekend.
Yeah?
I did ziplining for the first time.
Love
I
it.
did rappelling for the first time.
Get a lot of
I
firsts.
did what is it?
ATV?
ATV? Was it ATV?
Yeah,
Oh, we
ATVs.
did ATV for the first time.
What about something?
Something big. Okay. When was the last time we did something for the first time?
I mean, me.
Yeah, both of you.
Just in front of the camera. Recently this year.
Okay.
Started off with like blowjob scenes, and then ended up doing like now. Yeah. Now I have my. Now I'm doing the POV stuff for Bad Daddy, and I was
Do
actually.
you do the
having,
creepy talking too? Because Barrett's talking was so creepy. I was
Look,
like, yo, I don't know.
I look at it from this perspective. Nobody really wants to hear my fucking voice, so like I try to have the girl do as much of the talking as possible.
You just say like a
But
couple
if
things.
the girl's not talking, then yes, I
has
have
to
to. And
pull
I always
it
tell the
out.
girl
Yeah.
like, if I start talking, that means that you're not saying it enough. So like,
Yeah.
start talking more.
Yeah.
So I try to limit the amount of talking that I do. But
You're
yeah,
like, just pretend like this is VR.
yeah,
You're controlling the scene.
yeah.
I think to answer your question, we did a scene together for Bad Mommy.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that was my first,
Okay.
where I thought it
You
was.
did a lot of firsts lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've done a
That was
lot
the first
that.
time us working together for an actual like
for
company.
an actual company.
Was it nerve wracking or was
Nah,
it fun?
I
man.
was.
I mean, she
I
was, but
was
she
in the
killed
beginning.
it.
I get nervous when I
Well,
work
yeah,
with
in the
Seth.
beginning, because
it's like a good nervous though.
It
Yeah.
is.
But
Yeah.
you know what
It's
I mean?
exciting.
Well, this is the way I think of it. It's like when we're having sex with our spouse at home, like that's like a love, intimate, like real thing. You know what I mean? So when we're putting that out on camera, we're letting the world see that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like giving it away a little bit.
Right.
That's how I was looking at it for a while, but then I was
Right.
like, it's okay.
Well,
Yeah.
for
It's okay
us,
to break it off in pieces.
It's
I'm
a little
proud
bit of
to
a
show.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little bit of a different aspect for us because
Yeah.
we've been doing the whole lifestyle thing for a while.
Yeah.
So we've been sharing us for a
Yeah.
while.
That's
I
kind
think
of how it all started. Like we love to be watched.
Yeah.
Like that's where we got our thrill, for people to see us. Don't
Yeah.
touch us. We're not gonna touch anybody.
Yeah. Just watch.
We're just here to put on a show. So now
sit in the
showing that
corner.
in front of the camera. Yeah. Sit there and just watch and play with yourself.
I feel like you do really well doing a cuckold thing.
You think so?
Yeah, like
she does.
Like
She's like a fucking
like you're
referee and shit.
Yeah,
She's
like
like,
you're-
turn, do this now with
like
him.
you're fucking Billy, and like there's a dude sitting there, and you're like, yeah, you like that shit, don't you? You like when he's hitting me from the back. Shut up. Like,
I've never done that.
I think you should try it.
Yeah.
I want to be
I'll
there
take your
though to
advice.
like be the voyeur to watch it.
I think
It'd
with
be
our
epic.
first scene, the thing that like she said she was nervous is that I know what she's like
Yeah.
when she's in her sexual element.
Yes,
Her nervousness was taking her away from that.
Yeah.
gotcha.
So I literally, and I'm directing it at the same time, which is kind of weird because
That
I'm like,
is, yeah.
I'm not having a director direct us. It was still me, even though it was us in the scene, it was
Yeah.
still me directing it. So
Yeah.
I was like, I had to shut the camera off and say, look, like, snap out of it, dude. Like,
Yeah.
this is not you.
Yeah.
Like, be your fucking self.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Stop being nervous. Like,
I totally get that though.
like
I
do your shit.
Yeah.
And once I did that, because she likes me to fucking control her ass,
Yeah.
and choke her sometimes. You know,
So once you
she-
choke slammed her, and you fucking put her in the sleeper hole.
yeah,
Listen
yeah.
up.
And then she like opened up,
Yeah.
and it was like a crazy scene. I
It
mean,
was actually really cute because when we were done, we go downstairs and makeup artists.
Oh, that
and
was
they
cool.
were like, "Wow, today's one for the books." I said, "Why? What happened?" They're like, "We were just sitting here and we like hear you guys upstairs having sex, and we were like." That's some real shit.
Yeah.
This is not like porn.
Yeah.
It's a day of porn.
You
but it's
know
not
when
like,
it's real or when it's actual.
That
for
shit was
sure.
real.
That's
Like,
the difference too.
my
when you
pussy
get
got
people
wet
that
and my
love-
dick got hard. I was like, well, then I guess we did our job.
I love that.
But yeah, that was good. I was like, good job, honey. Good job.
Way to go. Way to go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming today, and I really appreciate and adore both of you.
I appreciate. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh,
Before
yeah.
we sign off,
Yes.
you said if what are the first that we've done?
Yes.
To let you know?
Yes.
This is the first.
That is.
You've never
You're the
Absolutely.
first person
Yes.
that has invited
How
us
dare I forget?
as a couple
I
to a
honestly
podcast.
didn't think you guys would want to do it
What?
for some
No.
reason.
We're down for whatever.
I'll call it out. I've been wanting
Yeah.
to like. I think we have a great story. You know.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of us.
You're
in the
very
industry.
interesting. Yeah.
So there's the Holly Randall podcast. There's all these other podcasts, and we've never got invited. Not
And
that I'm throwing
Kenzie
you
Taylor.
not that I'm throwing you under the bus, Holly. I love
Look
you.
at-
But
Look at
you know,
Kenzie Taylor
you need to get
asking
me.
the visuals.
She got the first this time. She got the
Yes.
first.
I popped the visuals cherry.
Yes, you did.
But yeah, this is our first one, so it's
I love
it's
that.
a
I really
pleasure.
appreciate that.
It's an honor. Thank
It's
you
an
so much.
honor.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
honestly, like the relationship that we've built, I have a business relationship with all the other podcasters, but we have like a family relationship.
party.
Yes.
You know, it's a blessing and an honor to see
Thank
you
you.
doing your thing with your podcast, and then
Thank
for us to
you.
be a part of it.
And succeeding in many ways and well. We're very proud of you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just need to get one of those dope ass chains, though. You know
You
what
got
I'm
it.
saying?
I got you. I got you.
So if you guys could both just share to everyone your social media handles, any websites, anything you have coming up you'd like to announce or anything like that.
Well, go ahead. You can start with yours since you're the female and they want to see you more than me.
It's Visual X on Twitter, same on Instagram.
Yeah, it's MSVISUALX. Same on Instagram, same on Twitter, same on OnlyFans.
Correct.
And I'm Billy Visual XX on Instagram. For some reason, it said XXX was taken, but it's not. So, and then everything else is Billy Visual XXX. XXX.
Got it.
Yes, yes.
So guys, be sure to check out both of the visuals on their OnlyFans for super hot content. Also, Pilly was telling me the other day about a scene with Isaiah. I think it
Oh
was.
yeah, check
yeah?
that out. That was
Check
hot.
that out because it sounded hot when
It
she was telling me
was.
about it.
Yeah, he
so.
fucking drilled her with his 12-inch.
Yeah,
cock, so.
that thing's huge.
Yeah.
And it's funny because she asked him, "Well, how big is your shit?" I just have to ask. He was like, "Oh, 9
9
inches."
inches.
I'm
I
like,
said,
"Shut the
"Oh,
fuck
shit."
up." Shut up.
Soft.
I said,
9
soft,
inches
maybe. Maybe. Yeah,
Well,
that
that's a
was it.
perfect ending. So you guys check out the visuals. They're fucking awesome.
Thank
Follow them on
you.
Instagram and Twitter. And I will see you next Tuesday for the new episode. Bye.
Laters.
Boom.